Do you ever feel tired for no real reason? Maybe a little dizzy when you stand up too fast. Perhaps dealing with nagging headaches or finding that your digestion just isn't quite right anymore. You might think it's just part of getting older, something you have to live with. But what if I told you that for many people, especially those of us enjoying our golden years? Some of these common complaints aren't just aging. What if they could be tied to something as simple, yet as crucial, as how you drink water? It sounds almost too simple, right? But the truth is, many of us, without even realizing it, are making some basic mistakes with our water intake that are quietly undermining our health, making us feel less vibrant than we could be. These aren't big, complicated health secrets. They're just subtle habits that can have a surprisingly big impact on how our bodies function day in and day out. In this video, we're going to look at 4 common water drinking mistakes that could be harming your body, and, more importantly, how you can easily fix them to feel better. Stick around until the very end, because one of these might just surprise you and completely change how you think about staying hydrated. Let's dive right into the first common mistake. And honestly, it's probably the most widespread one, especially as we get a little older, simply not drinking enough water throughout the day. You might be thinking, well, I drink coffee and tea, and I have juice with breakfast. And that's a start. But pure water plays a unique role in our bodies that other drinks just can't replicate. As we age, a few things happen that make getting enough water even more critical, and sadly, sometimes harder. For starters, our body composition changes. We tend to have a lower percentage of water in our bodies compared to when we were younger. This means we have less reserve to work with. On top of that, the signals our body sends about needing water can become a little less sharp. That strong feeling of thirst you might have felt in your 20s, it might be much milder now, making it easy to overlook or dismiss. Think about what water actually does for us. It's not just about quenching thirst. Water is the unsung hero of countless bodily functions. It helps transport nutrients to our cells and carries waste products away. It helps regulate our body temperature. It keeps our joints lubricated and our tissues moist. Think about how dry skin can feel, or how stiff joints can be. Water is essential for digestion. Preventing constipation. A common bugbear for many seniors. It keeps our kidneys functioning properly, filtering waste from our blood. It even plays a vital role in cognitive function. Mild dehydration can lead to brain fog, difficulty concentrating, and irritability. Things we often just chalk up to age. So, when you're not getting enough water, all these processes start to slow down or become less efficient. You might feel more fatigued because your cells aren't getting nutrients transported effectively. Your digestion slows down, leading to bloating and constipation. Your skin might feel dry and itchy. You might get headaches more often. Your joints could ache more. You might find your thinking isn't as sharp as usual. These are all signals your body might be sending, trying to tell you it needs more hydration. But because they're often subtle and sometimes attributed to other things, we don't connect the dots back to that simple glass of water. Why is it hard to drink enough? Sometimes it's simply forgetting, getting caught up in daily activities. Other times, it might be a conscious decision, perhaps driven by a fear of needing to use the bathroom frequently, especially if mobility is an issue or if you have incontinence concerns. It's a valid worry, but completely restricting fluids isn't the answer and can actually make some of these issues worse in the long run. So, how do you make sure you're getting enough without it feeling like a chore or causing other problems? The first step is awareness. Start paying attention to how much plain water you're actually drinking. Don't just count the cups of coffee or cans of soda. Pure, clear water is the goal here. A general guideline often recommended is around 8 glasses, about 64 ounces per day. But this isn't a strict rule carved in stone. Your individual needs can vary based on your activity level, the climate you live in, and even certain medications you might be taking. Some can affect hydration. A better way to tell if you're getting enough is to look at the color of your urine. If you're well hydrated, it should be pale yellow, almost clear. If it's consistently dark yellow or amber, you likely need to drink more. Making it easier to drink enough involves building simple habits into your day. Keep a water bottle or a glass of water nearby throughout the day, wherever you spend most of your time, by your favorite chair, on your nightstand, on your kitchen counter. Seeing it reminds you to sip. Try drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, even before coffee or tea. Your body has gone many hours without fluids overnight, so this is a great way to rehydrate. Another easy strategy is to tie water intake to existing routines. Drink a glass of water when you take your medications. Drink a glass before each meal. Drink a glass after going to the bathroom. These little triggers can help you consistently get fluids throughout the day without having to constantly think about it. If plain water feels boring, try adding a little flavor naturally. Slice up some cucumber, lemon, lime, oranges, or drop in a few berries or a sprig of mint. This can make water more appealing and encourage you to drink more. You can also get some of your hydration from foods. Many fruits and vegetables have high water content. Think watermelon, strawberries, cantaloupe, cucumbers, celery, lettuce, zucchini, tomatoes. Including these in your diet can contribute to your overall fluid intake. And regarding the worry about bathroom trips, while it's true that drinking more means more trips, staying properly hydrated can actually help improve bladder function over time for some people and reduces the risk of urinary tract infections, which dehydration can contribute to. Sipping water consistently throughout the day is usually better than chugging a large amount at once, which is more likely to lead to an urgent bathroom visit. Pay attention to your body's rhythm and adjust the timing of your fluid intake, perhaps reducing it slightly in the couple of hours before bedtime, but never severely restricting it during the day. Addressing any underlying bladder concerns with a doctor is also important. So, the first big mistake is simply underestimating your body's need for water and not making a conscious effort to drink enough throughout the day. By implementing some of these simple strategies, you can easily increase your intake and potentially see a big difference in how you feel. Now that we've talked about the fundamental issue of simply not getting enough water, let's move on to the second common mistake, and it's closely related. But it's about when you drink waiting until you actually feel thirsty to have a drink. This might sound counterintuitive. Right. Isn't thirst the body's signal that it needs water? Well, yes, it is a signal, but especially as we get older, thirst often becomes a late signal. By the time you feel noticeably thirsty, you're likely already a little bit dehydrated. Think of it like waiting until your car's fuel light comes on before you start looking for a gas station. You're running on empty, or close to it. And while you might make it, you're putting unnecessary stress on the system. For younger people, the thirst mechanism is generally quite sensitive. They feel thirsty relatively quickly when their body's fluid levels start to drop. But research has shown that with age, this sensitivity can decrease. Older adults might not feel thirsty until they are already significantly more dehydrated than a younger person would be at the onset of thirst. This means relying solely on thirst can lead to a constant state of mild, or even moderate, dehydration without you even realizing it. Imagine your body is like a garden. If you wait until the plants are wilting and the soil is cracked before you water, they're already stressed. It's much better to water regularly, keeping the soil consistently moist. Your body is the same way. It functions best when it's consistently well hydrated, not trying to recover from being low on fluids. What are the consequences of constantly being slightly behind on your hydration? Always playing catch up because you're waiting for thirst. Even mild dehydration can impact energy levels significantly. You might feel sluggish, tired, and just not have the get up and go you'd like. It can affect your mood, making you feel irritable or a bit foggy-headed. It makes simple tasks feel harder. Over time, this chronic low-level dehydration can contribute to more persistent issues like constipation, dry skin, and could even put more strain on your kidneys. It can also increase the risk of dizziness or lightheadedness, especially when standing up quickly, which increases the risk of falls, a major concern for seniors. So, the key here is proactive hydration, not reactive hydration. Instead of waiting for the signal of thirst, aim to sip water consistently throughout the day. Make it a habit to drink small amounts frequently. This keeps your body's fluid levels topped up and prevents you from reaching that point where thirst kicks in. We touched on some strategies for this when discussing the first mistake, but it bears repeating with this mistake in mind. Set a simple schedule: drink a glass every hour or two. Use technology if it helps. There are apps that can send reminders to drink water. Or you can simply set alarms on your phone or a kitchen timer. Keep a marked water bottle so you can visually track your progress towards your daily goal. Think about your daily activities. When do you transition from one activity to another? Use those moments as triggers to take a few sips of water. Finishing breakfast. Have some water. Sitting down to read. Have water nearby. About to go for a short walk. Drink a little water before you go and when you get back. These little moments add up throughout the day and help you stay ahead of thirst. It's also important to consider situations where your fluid needs might increase, even if you don't feel thirstier than usual. On hot days, even if you're not very active, you'll lose more fluid through sweat. If you're exercising, even gently, your body's using and losing more water. If you're unwell, especially with a fever, vomiting, or diarrhea, your fluid needs skyrocket, and relying on thirst alone in those situations is particularly dangerous. Pay extra attention to hydration during these times and consciously increase your water intake. By making the shift from waiting for thirst to proactively sipping throughout the day, you are supporting your body's functions much more effectively. You're helping maintain better energy levels, promoting smoother digestion, supporting cognitive function, and reducing the risk of dizziness and falls. It's a simple change in approach, but it can make a world of difference in how you feel day in and day out. It's about giving your body the hydration it needs consistently, rather than forcing it to send out an SOS signal. This leads us naturally into our next point, which is about the quality of the fluids you're choosing, not just the quantity or timing. This brings us to the third common water drinking mistake, and it's a big one: mistaking either drinks for water, or thinking they hydrate you just as well. We live in a world flooded with beverages that aren't plain water. Sodas, juices, sweetened teas, coffee, energy drinks, alcoholic beverages. While some of these contain water, they often come with additions that can actually counteract hydration or bring their own set of health problems, especially for seniors. Let's look at sugary drinks like soda and fruit juice. They do contain water, of course, but they're loaded with sugar. Consuming excessive sugar isn't good for anyone, but for seniors, it can impact blood sugar levels, contribute to weight gain, and offer empty calories without nutritional value. Even 100% fruit juice is often very high in sugar and calories and lacks the fiber you'd get from eating whole fruit. The body processes liquid sugar very quickly, which can lead to energy spikes and crashes. While these drinks might temporarily quench your thirst, they don't provide the pure, unadulterated hydration that plain water does. In fact, consuming large amounts of sugar can sometimes even have a mild diuretic effect, meaning they can cause you to lose more fluid. What about caffeine? Coffee and tea are staples for many people, and in moderate amounts. They aren't as dehydrating as once thought. However, caffeine is a diuretic. It makes your kidneys produce more urine, meaning you lose fluids faster. If you're relying heavily on coffee or caffeinated tea throughout the day and not balancing it with plain water, you could easily end up in a state of dehydration without realizing it. That morning cup of coffee might give you a boost, but it shouldn't be your primary source of fluids. Too much caffeine can also interfere with sleep and increase anxiety or heart rate, which are things many seniors are already mindful of. Alcohol is another big offender. It's well known for its dehydrating effects because it suppresses a hormone that helps your body retain water. Any alcohol consumption needs to be balanced with plenty of water. And for optimal hydration, it's best avoided as a regular fluid source. The point here isn't necessarily that you can never have a soda, a juice, a coffee, or a glass of wine. The point is that you shouldn't count these towards your daily water intake in the same way you count pure water. Your body needs plain water for all those crucial functions we discussed earlier: transporting nutrients, flushing waste, lubricating joints, maintaining temperature. These other drinks, with their added sugars, caffeine, or other compounds, don't do the job as efficiently and can even create extra work for your body. Think about it this way: If your car needs oil, you don't put in orange juice just because it's liquid. Your body needs water, specifically water, to run smoothly. Substituting it consistently with sugary drinks or caffeinated beverages is like trying to run your internal engine on the wrong fuel. So, the fix for this mistake is straightforward, though sometimes challenging if you're used to reaching for something other than water. Make plain water your go-to beverage throughout the day. Keep it accessible and appealing. If you're used to having a soda, with lunch, try having water instead. If you automatically pour juice in the morning, try water with a slice of lemon. You can still enjoy other beverages in moderation, but make sure they are in addition to, not instead of, your primary water intake. Listen to your body. Sometimes, what feels like a craving for a sweet drink might actually be a signal that your body is thirsty and just needs plain water. If you're feeling low energy, before reaching for a sugary drink or another coffee, try drinking a glass of water and waiting a few minutes. You might be surprised at how often simple hydration is what you really needed. Embracing plain water as your main source of fluids is one of the simplest yet most impactful changes you can make for your health at any age. But it becomes increasingly important as the body's natural thirst signals and fluid regulation become less robust in later years. It's about giving your body exactly what it needs to function optimally, without the extra burden of processing sugars, excessive caffeine, or other additives. By choosing water first, you're supporting better overall health, from digestion and energy levels to kidney function and cognitive clarity. It sets the stage perfectly for our final point, which is about truly paying attention to the signals your body is sending you. This leads us to the fourth common mistake, and it's one that often goes hand in hand with the others, ignoring or misinterpreting the subtle signals your body sends when it needs water. As we've discussed, the feeling of thirst can become less pronounced with age. This means our bodies might be communicating their need for hydration in other, less obvious ways, if we aren't paying attention, or if we just dismiss these signals as normal signs of aging. We miss crucial opportunities to rehydrate before dehydration becomes a real problem. What are some of these subtle signals? We touched on a few earlier, but let's look at them more closely. Fatigue is a big one. Feeling unusually tired, sluggish, or lacking energy, even if you've had enough sleep. This can be a sign that your body's systems are slowing down due to lack of fluid. Water is needed for energy production at a cellular level, and when you're dehydrated, this process becomes less efficient. So, before you decide you just need a nap or another cup of coffee, try drinking a glass of water. Headaches are another common symptom. Dehydration can cause headaches, sometimes described as a dull ache or even a more intense throbbing. This happens because when you're dehydrated, your brain tissue can actually contract slightly, pulling away from the skull. Rehydrating helps the tissue return to its normal state, often relieving the headache. Dry mouth or chapped lips are more obvious signs, but sometimes we just reach for lip balm instead of water. Pay attention to these physical dryness cues. Dry skin overall can also be a sign of chronic dehydration. While external moisturizers are helpful, true skin hydration starts from within. Dizziness or lightheadedness, especially when moving from sitting or lying down to standing, is a significant signal. This is often due to a drop in blood pressure that can occur with dehydration. This is one of the most dangerous signs because it directly increases the risk of falls. If you experience this, sit back down, drink some water slowly, and see if it improves before trying to stand again. It's also a signal that you need to be more consistent with your daily hydration. Muscle cramps can also be related to hydration and electrolyte balance, which water helps maintain. If you're experiencing unexplained muscle cramps, particularly in your legs, ensure you're adequately hydrated. Constipation, as mentioned before, is heavily influenced by hydration. Water helps keep things moving through your digestive tract. If you're struggling with regularity, increasing your water intake is one of the first and most effective things you can try. Finally, urine color is perhaps the most reliable indicator. While you might not check it every single time, getting into the habit of noticing the color a few times a day can tell you a lot. Pale yellow to almost clear means you're likely well hydrated. Dark yellow or amber means you need to drink more. If it's very dark, you're probably significantly dehydrated. The mistake here is attributing these symptoms solely to age or other conditions without considering dehydration as a possible cause. It's easy to think, "Oh, I'm just getting older. I'm always tired." Or, "My knees always ache." That's just how it is. While aging certainly brings changes, these symptoms are often magnified, or even caused, by insufficient hydration. The fix is to cultivate awareness and listen closely to your body's subtle language. When you notice one of these symptoms, pause and ask yourself, have I had enough water today before reaching for a painkiller for a headache? Try drinking a large glass of water before accepting fatigue. Try hydrating. Make it a practice to rule out dehydration as a cause for these common complaints. This isn't about becoming overly anxious about every ache or pain, but about being a proactive participant in your own health. By recognizing these subtle signals, you can address your body's needs promptly and prevent minor issues from potentially becoming bigger ones. It's about being attuned to your physical self and responding with the simple solution it might be asking for water. So, we've talked about 4 common water drinking mistakes that can really affect how we feel, especially as we get older. We covered not drinking enough water throughout the day, which affects everything from energy to digestion. We looked at the mistake of waiting until you feel thirsty, recognizing that thirst is often a late signal. We discussed the importance of choosing pure water over sugary drinks, or relying too much on caffeinated beverages. And finally, we just talked about the crucial step of learning to recognize and listen to the subtle signals your body sends when it needs hydration. Instead of dismissing them as just getting old, it might seem incredibly basic, just drinking water. But getting it right is foundational to feeling your best. Fixing these simple mistakes can lead to surprising improvements in your energy levels, clearer thinking, smoother digestion, more comfortable joints, and just an overall feeling of well-being. It's not about making drastic changes overnight, but about building small, consistent habits, carrying a water bottle, sipping regularly, choosing water first, and paying attention to your body's cues. These are powerful steps you can take every single day. Remember, aging doesn't have to mean a steady decline in how you feel. Often, addressing fundamental needs like hydration can unlock significant improvements. You are capable of feeling more energetic, more comfortable, and more vibrant than you might currently feel. These are not difficult habits to adopt, and the payoff in terms of how you feel in your body is immense. Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself? Have you found simple ways to make sure you drink enough water throughout the day? I'd love to hear your experiences and tips in the comments below. Sharing what works for you can help others in our community. If you found this information helpful and encouraging, please give the video a like. It really helps our channel. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos designed to help you live your healthiest, happiest life in your golden years. Thank you for watching. Taking care of yourself is one of the greatest investments you can make. Keep sipping, keep listening to your body, and keep thriving. Live your best life at every age.